Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. We've talked about this before, how sound can help you heal. It's true. I mean, you listen to music, you feel a certain way, take it to another level when you go to somebody who's a sound healer using different types of instruments and how the energy changes from those instruments, changes your energy. We're going to dig deeper into that today. She is the owner of Sounds of Wellbeing, and she is Susan Chaney, PhD. She's back with us. How are you?
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Good to have you back here. If you want to reach out, instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com. Best way to do it while we're here. Also, you can hit us up at 631-319-6275. Last time we got together, somebody asked a question about how this all works. And can we go back to that for a moment and just kind of pick up from there?
Sure. When a client comes in, first thing I do is have them fill out an intake form. And one of the things that we do is we formulate an intention, what that client would like to work on, what shifts they would like to make. And then we come up with an intention statement. And
Hmm.
then the intention statement becomes kind of an energetic stamp. And so it's I want I want the client to feel that statement, and it needs to resonate with that client,
Hmm.
because when it resonates within, that's when they're going to be able to make those shifts. And so part of the first part of the process when the client is down on the table is that we'll work on so the statement will work on getting them to the highest emotional state. Ideally, that's unconditional love, joy, or gratitude. And then we also work on mixing that in with a color. And when you think about color and energy vibrationally, those are both energies that tend to rise. So we're asking the universe to support us in making those shifts. And so that's kind of how we start off. So basically, a client can come in and I believe last week someone asked, how do you know what instrument to use? And my response was, it depends on what the patient is presenting with. But actually, with the intention statement, you could treat with any instrument. It could be just your voice, however that practitioner wants to work with someone.
Hmm. I've heard, and I truly want your feedback on this,
Yeah.
that the because of the intent, your intent when you're working with somebody and you're making certain sounds to help them heal, that it goes where it needs to go. The vibration, the energy from the sound goes within their body where it needs to heal. It's not like they come to you per se, and this is what I'm experiencing. I've, you know, got a loss in my life and I've got, a lot of stuck energy. And then you're like, okay, let me sacral chakra. Beep, I'm gonna hit that one up. Not so much that. It's more of the energy goes where it needs to go.
Yes, that's correct. In fact, I've had two clients probably in the past 2 weeks, and they wanted treatment in certain areas. And to start off, I was doing some relaxation techniques. And the one client noticed right away that even though I was working on the third chakra, it was like the vibrations went down to the base of the spine. And so it's like, well, and that was one of the things that he came in for. And then I had another client the other day who came in, and it was her first time with a session, and she left feeling better. But then, she texted me later on, this really did help. My back, the pain is diminished. So all of that energy that we were working on, the vibrational energy, went to those areas that she needed.
Can you tell us some of those success stories, what people have told you after sessions, what they've came? they've come back with saying, "Oh, I felt this way. I felt that way."
Well, yes. And some of them can be very, the thing with sound healing is that it's affecting all areas. So it's going to be whether it's pain or mental or emotional. And I've had quite a few of emotional breakthroughs where people didn't realize. I mean, on some level, they were ready to make the shift because it's the individual is the one who's actually making all the energetic shifts. I'm just facilitating it. But I've had people just have emotional shifts of gratitude. Like I have one person, I understand now how I am completely part of the universe. And those are some pretty profound big
Hmm.
shifts.
Wow.
I've had people with pain, and then the pain just diminishes. And with pain, it's going to kind of depend on how long it's been in the body and how many sessions that would take. But I've definitely had a lot of shifts with pain.
Yeah, interesting breakthrough moments. Even
Hmm.
having experienced some of this, talk to sound healers, that hasn't really come up a lot. So what, yeah, let's put the microscope on that for just a second. Those aha moments where, like you said, somebody feels like now they're connected to life again, or maybe for the first
Hmm.
time, just by having some sessions dealing with sound. It's pretty amazing.
Yes, it's interesting. I was working with this one gal, and she was wanting to lose weight. And it was interesting because what I noticed is that she was actually kind of cut off from source. And so I was
When you
working
say
with a
source, let's go along the way here.
universal creator, however,
Why was she
whatever.
why was she cut off?
I don't know that. I just could tell by because I did a tuning fork session with her, and I did it when I did her crown chakra, there was like no sound. It just like diminished quickly. And so what that means is that there's a depletion in that energy. And so I applied the tuning forks and we brought down the energy there. And so then she was connected again. There was that connection. And it was so interesting because right after that, she started losing a lot of weight. Her goal, she was able to start achieving the goals she wanted.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm like kind of blown away here. Um, how did that how did that work?
Well, it was interesting because I didn't, that's not, I mean, she had said all along, I'm trying to lose weight. And she was on this, a pretty strict regimen, and everything else was going well, but she just felt like there was this plateau that she was not making any progress with. And we didn't necessarily address it directly, but I noticed that as soon as I was able to reconnect her, that the shifts changed. So, it was pretty exciting to see.
Amazing. I mean, it just
Hmm.
shows you, this thing that we hear, stuck energy.
Hmm.
And it sounds like that was the situation for her. Apparently, she had some
Hmm.
energy that was stuck.
Yes, yeah. For some reason, yeah, I don't know.
Sometimes you can't find the answer, but you can identify what somebody is dealing with, what they're feeling. What are some
Hmm.
of the other things you picked up just by working with somebody? Here that she was disconnected from source. Any other things?
Um, well, the instruments are always going to be speaking to me. So, like when they're really loud, that means there's an excess energy. And so we try and disperse that and get the energy running correctly. A lot of times, instruments will sound odd. The overtones will cut out. So you'll hear the actual tone, but overtones cut out. And so that means that there's also a depletion. So I'm listening to the instruments, and I'm also kind of feeling the energy field. Sometimes you can feel in the energy field that it feels like congested energy.
See, I want to go there.
Okay.
You hear it differently, a different tone.
Yes. So normally when you're starting out, you'll just practice with your instruments and you'll get that the baseline of the tone is typically what you're going to experience. And then as you're practicing with clients, you know, um, whatever instrument you're using, the instrument is giving you feedback information. So if everything's balanced, it's going to sound normal. But then if you get to a different area and sounds cut out or sounds get loud, or sometimes instruments can get like with the bowls, the instruments can feel sticky. And so that means that you need to disperse that energy. There's a whole bunch of different things that you're kind of looking for to
And
determine what.
you hear
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
Wow. Been talking about this for quite some time, sound healing.
Uh,
Never heard that.
oh,
Amazing. Did you have any musical ability or were did you think you had a good ear, if you will, before you embarked on this journey?
I think I have good hearing. I don't know that I would have considered myself musically inclined necessarily. I mean, as a kid, I took piano and clarinet, but I didn't necessarily pursue it later on. I think I came to sound healing from the aspect of wanting to know ourselves better and making those shifts to, move forward.
I'm still intrigued about you hear a different sound.
Yeah,
Hit a tuning fork and it's like, that sounds a little flat, sour, however you want to describe it,
yeah,
than it would normally. And that
uh-huh,
indicates that somebody's got something going on. Wow. Um,
right, yeah.
the word shamanic. Now
Hmm.
you do sessions. Just going to pivot for just a moment over there.
Sure.
Um, to me, that shows how deep you go.
Hmm.
Uh, Shamanic sessions. Now let's go to the word shamanic. Some people might hear that and think, "Oh, that sounds really bad." It's not. How do you
Hmm.
define it?
Oh, so it's shamanism is a technique where you meet spirit guides, you meet animal spirit guides, and those are what is would be in they call the underworld. It's not the same as like Christian cosmology, where you think of the underworld as negative. The underworld in shamanism really
Okay.
is primarily where the animal spirits, and there are um, beings who prefer to be there rather than in the upper world. And so then the other area where you're meeting your guides is in the upper world. And the part of shamanism is where through sonic driving, which is usually with a drum or a rattle, you are, and there's certain beats at a certain beat that gets you in this entrainment. And so then you go on what's called the shamanic journey. And so you're traveling, whether you decide to go to the lower world or the upper world. And it's really just to retrieve information for yourself. And so you kind of have to uh, learn the language that is being given to you. So it's good to practice.
Do you have breakthrough moments when let's say you're doing a shamanic session on somebody?
Mhm.
Do they realize things like, oh wow, I wasn't even aware of that was going on with me, or how how my past affected me?
Yes, you're gonna have all kinds of experiences like that. And it'll just depend on what the individual is, again, what the individual is working on. A lot of times in shamanism, they're not going to be exactly specific, like you need to do this. It's more of a broad picture, like it's going to, it just isn't, the language in shamanism is just kind of, it's different. It's like understanding your dream language, kind of.
What got you into all of this, Susan?
Mm, curiosity, I think. Um, I wanted to find, everybody's searching for answers, and it just seemed like I would come back when I would do like meditation, and different things like that. You come back with profound answers that really are suited for you as the individual.
Did you need it personally yourself? Like you were looking for something, some realization in your life, and is that where it started opening up for you? And then you said, "Well, wait a minute, this worked for me. I can help others."
Probably most definitely. Yeah, I was always curious. And I think I started in my early 20s doing a bunch of different, I think I uh, did the pipe ceremony. I was doing a whole bunch of different things, the Native American pipe ceremony. Um, so, yeah, just curiosity to explore different cultures and where the wisdom is in those cultures.
It's funny how our journeys take us because
Mhm.
I get what you're saying. I have been connected to people who are intuitive for decades. Work with
Mhm.
them in different broadcast or be it marketing. So I'm very open to it. And I believe people have certain abilities. There's some phonies out there, yes. Scammers, yes. But those who are truly gifted, talented, however you want to, and I'm skeptical. So I would look at them, even though they're friends. I'm like, give me more, give me more, and I would see it, and I was open to this thing called energy. But it wasn't until say 4 years ago when things changed in my life, and I guess how they say when the student is truly ready, the teacher will show up. Well,
Hmm.
all of the stuff that we're talking about showed up just in different ways from doing podcasts and then I started piecing it together. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, that works. That's how that works. Oh, this energy stuff over here. Oh, now I'm connecting it all. Then it came clear. Then it came clear.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking it probably did for you. You had spatterings of info and wonderings, and then all of a sudden, oh, shamanic, oh, sound, oh, all right, wow, pretty powerful stuff going on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's a magnificent journey, I think. Just take for anyone, just go and take as much information as you can. And I think that with the thing that I appreciate are some of the, ancient cultures and the wisdom, what is the story behind all of that?
There's a reason in 2024 we're still talking about this stuff, right? And the
Hmm.
sound healing it's nothing new. Yeah, this
Hmm.
goes centuries. Oh, so far back. I'm intrigued how they figured it out by hitting a sound bowl back in the day, you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, how that made somebody feel better. And because they didn't have the science behind it, and then we have it now where we can uh, see vibrations and how they work, and this thing, how energy works, and all of that. They didn't have that, and they still had it figured out back then. Do you ever think about that?
Yes, I have a bunch of books of like mythology and different things like that. So it's like going back and actually kind of picking through it and trying to piece, what they were really trying to say. One of my favorite sayings is a Mayan saying, and they say that all that vibrates is in relation to the creator God, Hunab. So that means that everything in creation is vibrating, you know? So it's like, and that was quite a while ago.
How did they figure that out?
Yeah.
And then continue to believe that it helps and it works. And yes, I am so on your page there. Everything is vibrating. Everything is vibrating in usually unison, but sometimes there's conflict in the vibration, right down to our pets. I mean, I've experimented in sending messages to my dog,
Hmm.
visuals, and he responds to it. And I know, I get it, people. Woo woo alert. I get it. I can't explain it though. It works. And usually consistently,
Hmm.
that's a vibration, sending it to an animal. And nobody is more in tune with energy and vibration than animals, bar none.
I believe so. And I think like our pets, it's amazing how in tune our pets are with us. They're like, and they've done studies like with dogs. Dogs are anticipating what's my next call? What do
A
I need
hundred
to do?
100%. And when we talk about the energy, they don't have to worry about stuff. I mean, they're a great example of what we're talking
Yeah.
about. They're not worrying about paying the rent, the mortgage, car payments. Um, Typically, where my next meal is coming from, either their person is giving it to them, or if they're in the wild, they're confident. I'll figure it out, man. No problem. I got to get on that
Right.
right now. They don't have the distractions we have, so they're hyper focused on all of this. Um, there's no better receiver of energy. And I used to watch my dog come from the outside to the inside, and every single time he'd shake, just.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I'm like, oh well, he's just his fur is a little matted from the outside. But then I realized he's not. No, he's not doing it for that reason. He's shaking off the energy from the outdoors to transition to the indoors to get him ready to receive what's coming his way in terms of
Hmm.
vibrations inside.
Right.
Why would he be doing that every single time, instinctively doing it? It wasn't that his fur was matted from the wind. At least that's
Yeah.
my belief, and I don't. There's no other reason that comes clear for me. I don't know. What pets do you have?
I have a couple of cats.
Same.
Yeah. They're always doing the downward dog.
The what?
The downward dog, the yoga pose, downward dog, the stretch,
Oh,
you
yep,
know.
yep. I see that occasionally. The downward dog. uh, this can help so many people if we just open our mind to it. Now, you're Alamosa, Colorado. Do I have that right in that area?
Yes, that is correct. Uh-huh.
Okay. And eventually you're going to do this virtually. We've talked about that. But for those in and around that area, they just come to you for sound healing. How do they reach out to you?
It's probably easier just to email me, Susan at soundsofwellbeing.net. They are welcome to give me a call, 719-678-2225. I'm usually in and out with clients, but I'm pretty good at getting back within the day.
Wonderful talking with you. You're like the go-to sound healing person. Like, you can
Oh,
watch this anywhere on the planet. You're like the resource of us understanding how this all works, and I appreciate it. Thanks for being here today.
thank you, Scott.
We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.